As always, this episode of the Talking Walls podcast is brought to you by Green King Sport, where football is more than a game. Why not make Green King your go-to destination for this season's final stretch? With delicious food and refreshing beverages, every single one of Wolves' televised fixtures is on show at their venues. And with 900 sport venues across the UK, there's a chance as one just walking distance from where you are. And watching football is way better with your friends and family. So why not get the squad together for some title showdowns, the race for European qualification, and nail-biting relegation 6-pointers. So don't forget to download the Green King Sport app to enjoy exclusive competitions and discounts whenever there's a game on. Yes, everybody, welcome back to the Talking Walls podcast. We are here for the final show of the 23-24 season. It has finally come to a close. Today we're going to be looking back at the Liverpool game away at Anfield on the final game of the season. We'll be giving our overall thoughts on the campaign. We'll be looking back at our predictions we made right at the start of the season, and then we'll be answering some of your questions as well at the end of the show. We'll kick off with my co-host today. I've got Mr. Jord Russell. Jord, how you keeping?
I'm good, mate. How are you?
Yeah, all good. We did our sell, loan, keep sort of series earlier on today, which will be sort of fed and uploaded throughout the week. So that was good fun, wasn't it? Been up to much else?
Enjoying the sun? What have I done? Yeah, enjoying the good weather. To be fair, we had our end of season fantasy football doing Hickories yesterday. That was good.
I love the Hickories.
We had like over 20 people in the sports room. Didn't watch the Wolves game because someone wanted the Arsenal game on, so they can only have two splits. So we had Arsenal and Man City, which, to be fair, going for a title, can sort of understand. So I had to watch it back post Hickories and post a few beers, which was I hope I can remember it as much as everyone else could soberly.
Did you have to pay, Jord? Were you all right?
What with we had to pay deposit.
No, like fantasy football. Was it like the losers paid the bill?
No. So we've got a league of, I think there was 57 of us in it this year, which has sort of grown over the last 10 years. It's 30 quid in, so we normally get about £2,000 in the pot.
Oh,
so,
wow.
Yeah, so it was I didn't win, unfortunately, but yeah, it's good. So it grows and grows every year. So I'm not plugging up the fantasy football league. But
Did you see that one going around? Sorry, Dave, I know I haven't been introduced yet. I'm just jumping the gun. Did you see that one going around today of that group of lads that have done forfeits?
Yeah.
It was like
the list of 10.
Got to go.
Yeah, to finish.
Someone's got to
donate to a sperm bank.
Yeah, mate, that was wild though. I thought the one that was 10th wasn't even as bad as some of the other ones in my opinion.
The sperm bank one was wild.
Day trip to another country with no phone or wallet and vlog it, which
I'd love that.
We did that in the Europa League anyway.
Yeah.
Beg on the underground until they make a tenner.
I think that's the worst one. I think that's the worst one.
Yeah, I'll do as well.
If I saw someone that said lost fantasy, if you said like lost fantasy league, I'd give.
Please give me a tenner.
Yeah, great. And
we should do. We should do an FPL next year with like the four of us or whoever's on. Yeah. But not necessarily forfeits, but as literally as a segment on the show for 5 minutes where we talk about it. Yeah. I was thinking about that before.
I'm all for it. Yeah, all for it.
I think we did obviously Finn Morris as well on the show. I think Finn, we actually both did okay this year. Jordan, I don't think I'm in any leagues with you, but Finn,
I'm in the Talking Wolves league.
Oh yeah. So Finn actually,
I had a disappointing finish.
You had 2,492. I had 2,454. So I was a million miles away behind. I was awful most of the year, but I'm in one league as well, Jordan, which is a pay-to-enter league. And it was top 2 got paid. And I made second place my own in the end. But I was bottom 3 for a good half of the season. I had a really good second half of the season.
Well, to make things worse, me and one of my best mates, we were on a golfing trip in Liverpool last year. Someone who I run it with, there's like three of us run it, and we're pissed up and we're like, you know what, we've done this let's make it more interesting. So we had £100 bet between ourselves, but we did like a draft. So in the league we were in, but say the draft, you could only pick from 10 teams all season. So we did it as a snake order. But if you use like a triple captain, for example, you could pick from the 20, but the core of the season was 10 teams. So my 10 teams were Liverpool, Tottenham, Newcastle, Villa, Wolves, Palace, Bournemouth, Sheffield United,
Good memory.
Burnley, Crystal Palace, I think. Yeah,
You said
that was
Palace
my
twice.
10. Right, Brighton. Anyway, 10 teams, right? So I couldn't pick. But I was actually in that league. End of January, I was in the top 4,000 in the world. I was winning that league
Oh my god.
because I had like obviously Villa were flying, Wolves were flying, Liverpool before Salah went off to AFCON, Spurs
Yeah.
won 9 out of the first 10. Literally, I had all these differentials and it's quality because naturally you're not going to sell people, you just got to leave them in. And then then literally, I was 400 points ahead of this guy, and so this was at the end of January. He offered me a payout of 85 quid, and I said no, fuck you. Going into the last week, going into this game week, I was 4 points ahead of him. He's obviously had like Arsenal keeping clean sheets.
Yeah. Did you have Mateta? Did you have Mateta and Eze?
My brother captained Mateta yesterday. My brother captained Mateta. I was like, "What are you doing?"
No. But I've had Eze in all season. Elise when they've been fit, obviously, and Tyreek Mitchell. So I couldn't get Mateta in without doing it. So I just had to leave it. So, but no. So I ended up getting 100 points there yesterday for the game week.
Oh wow.
So
Good, very well.
nice.
What was your overall rank, Jord? Do you know off the top of your head, roughly?
Yeah, I've had a look. I ended up with like 2,300 points, so I'd have been a little bit below you guys, but I literally dropped like a stone. But I wouldn't be doing that next year if we're doing it for
do a proper
seriously for the pod. We're doing it properly.
Yeah. I don't think Matt plays it properly, so we'll have to get him to play.
He'll play.
Because you won our cup, didn't you, Dave, in that one? You won the cup. I finished second to Nathan Judah in that one that we're in with a lot of Wolves people. But I think they, on their podcast, he said if anyone finishes above him, he'll pay for a Costa or something like that. But he does really well every year.
Last year, I think. Yeah.
He's
good. I think... I don't know if Matt plays it seriously, so we'll have to play it. But yeah, if anyone's wondering where Matt is, he has, if you didn't know, he's just moved into a house. He didn't mention it on the last pod. So, no, all jokes aside, congrats to Matt and his partner anyway. And also, end of season pod, normally tradition for us is that we try and get to Molineux, which is honestly what we tried to do, or at least we wanted to do, but just logistically it didn't quite work. We wanted to get Liam Keane on, who was busy, and I thought, all right, whatever, but he's actually got engaged to his missus, so fair play to him, and congratulations as well. So there was a good reason for him rejecting us. So, but yeah, lads, Liverpool will try and get this game done and dusted. Liverpool away, wasn't expecting much. We know it was Jurgen Klopp's farewell at Liverpool. I think the odds were very, very much against Wolves with the bookies as well. And we weren't really expecting much with how Wolves have been playing recently. Finn, I know you made the trip to Anfield. How was it? You enjoy yourself, other than the football, I suppose?
Not really. No, it was how we expected. Speaking of FPL, I chucked Gakpo in because I couldn't afford Salah, and I was thinking, God, when we were conceding the goals, I thought, at least get involved, mate. At least give me something to cheer for. But no, it was miserable on all fronts. I think I finished 90,000th in the world, and I mean. To be honest, I was on the second row, so they have like the wheelchair row, and then the next row. I was on that, and I was saying to my family the whole game, I am not going to have a clue what's gone on in this game, and you really don't appreciate. I know I say it every time, but when you're in an away end down the bottom, you never appreciate how tough like Premier League football is until you see it at their level. Like when I'm up high at Molineux, you really don't. You don't appreciate how they're not seeing that gap, how they're not seeing that pass, and then when you're down there, you see why. Yeah. I had a decent view of Semedo's challenge, and that was about it. But yeah, I mean, the atmosphere, I've got to give it, I've given Anfield stick every time. And if they weren't yesterday, it was embarrassing, but it was really, really good. It probably came through on the TV as well. It really sort of peaked last 15 minutes. But it felt like a moment to be there. But to be honest, it felt like we'd sort of read the script and took part. We didn't offer too much. I think the red card killed us because we were okay in that first 20 minutes. And even Jord might have a better view on what actually happened in the game, not watching it, than I did down there. But no, yeah, it just felt like exactly as planned. I think I'd have probably predicted more than 2-0, so maybe fair play to Wolves. But yeah, it felt like we'd sort of read the script.
I think so as well. I think a lot of people, even on our match preview beforehand, they commented saying they were expecting a heavy defeat. And when we saw that red card, I thought, this is going to be a long, long afternoon. But yeah, I think, it's never nice to lose a game, whether it's 1-0 or 5-0. But I think we sort of dealt with the red card
Well, you say that. They sent Michael Oliver over to have a look at the Jesus handball in the Arsenal game.
See, I've not seen it. I've heard this. I've not seen these back.
It's absolutely bonkers. I can't believe the game. Well, in real time, well, again, we're talking Wolves, not talking Arsenal, but I'll go
There's
on.
There's not much to say, it's fine.
No. So, it's literally Jesus. Tarkowski's come and Jesus backed out of it a little bit, but he's basically pushed the ball round Tarkowski with his arm, ran through. Bit of a weird scramble, a little bit, I guess, and then Havertz tapped it in. Michael Oliver's gone over to the screen. VAR said to go and have a look at the screen, and then it's quite clear that Jesus has gained an advantage with where the ball's hit him on the arm. And then Michael Oliver's got no goal. I mean, it doesn't mean anything in the sort of the context of the league and whatever else, but weird.
Wait, so he gave the goal? Is that the last minute one he said?
Yeah, they gave the goal. It was given a goal on in real time. They sent Michael Oliver over to the screen to look at it, and he still gave the goal. Mental. Which is, again, I thought I'd mention that because with VAR, it means the referee doesn't necessarily have to automatically change the decision when they go to the screen. But I just hate these sort of challenges because, I mean, I think a yellow card was fair. I think if he got sent off in real time, it would have been fair as well, to be quite honest with you. But I just don't get where this bar is. I don't get what this tolerance level is. And as soon as you slow down a tackle, it doesn't matter if you win the ball, you don't win the ball. As soon as you slow down a tackle into milliseconds or frames or clips, your leg or your ankle is always going to wobble if there's contact. You see it with fucking Tyson Fury's face when Usyk was knocking him around the ring in the ninth round. When the slow mo that, it looks like his head's going to come off his neck. But it's because of how slow they're going with the pixels. It's mental. So I hate it. I just hate that they're getting involved. Gary O'Neill summed it up brilliantly for me. It's like VAR was there to get rid of the clear and obvious, and I'm sick of talking about the officials. Can't wait to not talk about them for a few months. But there's no need for him to get involved in that Semedo thing. Yeah, it's a yellow, it's a foul. Could have quite easily been a red, but it's not clearly and obviously a red card challenge. And as soon as they slow it down and send him over to the monitor, you're going to give a red. It's going to look it's going to look worse. And another thing for VAR, because they're not going to scrap it. I know the club have done all this stuff. I think one of the things that should be proposed at the AGM, not that they will listen to us, is that all incidents must be played back in real time. Challenges, because again, I say you slow it down, everything looks 10 times worse when you slow something down. It's a contact sport. Yes, Semedo was late. It's not the worst tackle. It's not a pretty tackle. It's not the worst challenge I've ever seen. I think just let it get. Just don't get involved. Just let it go. Because now he's going to be banned for 3 games now at the start of the season.
If he's with us. Emoji.
If he's with us, of course.
I mean, I don't want to go into a full in-depth rant or whatever on VAR, but now you've brought it up. Obviously, we haven't spoken about it on the podcast because it broke last Wednesday evening about Wolves and pushing forward this VAR thing. I made it pretty clear. I did a couple of little pieces on Thursday. Made it pretty clear I wasn't a fan of it. I think there was a lot of us that we've moaned about it on here. A lot of fans that I sit near to or speak to on social media, honestly considering just giving up. And I think a lot of it is to do with VAR. And like you said, Jordan, I don't think it will be scrapped, but I think and I hope that Wolves' stance on it will certainly create a serious debate on how it can be made better, and it needs to be made better sooner rather than later. Finn, I mean, obviously we haven't been able to catch up much over the last few months or so, but what's your sort of very quickly your overall stance on VAR, and then if you want to chip in with your thoughts on the Semedo tackle as well towards the end.
Yeah, I echo Jord really on the Semedo tackle that I think if they'd have given a red, it's the bar thing that's annoying. It just seems to be an excuse for if they get a decision wrong in retrospect that they go, oh, the bar wasn't low enough or high enough. And I think if it had given a red fair, if it had given a yellow fair, it was at least one of the ones recently where Wolves have had things overturned where the opposition team didn't appeal. At least all the Liverpool players went, well, that wasn't great. So it wasn't proper salt in the wounds. But yeah, on the overall thing, I think for once, I'm going to agree with Jurgen Klopp. And it's a sad way to agree with him because I thought he actually came across quite nicely on his final press conference and in him saying about VAR and backing Wolves. But I agree with him. But when he said, we can't basically trust the humans, so let's get rid of the VAR, that's the sad state of it. That, right, okay, they can't use it, so get rid of it. I think there's another option there where we're not going to magic 20 elite referees out of thin air. But I think that's just the sad state of it, that it's like Wolves' point, wasn't it? It's saying corruption, conspiracy. And I've said that on the podcast when I'm in the heat of the moment, and it obviously isn't. But they're that bad at using it. Before, it was, oh, the referees just missed that tackle. Or I remember one that sticks in my head, a clear onside goal in the first season we were up when Doc scored against Tottenham and they ruled it out. Ones like that where it's like, well, the ref might not just have seen it. But now when they're seeing things 4 times and still not, that's when the conspiracy word comes out. And every single point Wolves made was bar for bar. They were bang on. And I think Klopp, there's a few other managers at back, so I can't remember who they are, but I completely agree. But it's just really sad. It's really sad that that's the thing, that we can't trust people when 99.99 every time. We agree normally every week, don't we? Or when I'm listening to you guys in the last few months, you agree every week. The whole football community agrees, but it's the people that look at the screens. So it's gone, okay, they can't do it, so let's remove it. So there's a part of me that thinks, let's not remove it. Wolves will get a few howlers. If they did remove VAR, there'll be a few howlers and we'll be calling for it back again. So I don't think we can win either way, is my short answer, I think. But I side with you guys.
I just think, I don't think referees trust them enough, and I don't think they're necessarily bad at their job. I think genuinely they're just like, and I think that's just any human will be the same. They're like scared to trust their gut because they've always think, oh, I've got VAR to lean back on or whatever. I just don't. Obviously, there were some howlers off referees over the years, but I just don't remember a bad refereeing decision or display being spoke about at length like this week after week.
Because they had an excuse before, didn't they? And now there's no excuse, and they still get it wrong.
But like I've mentioned it, and I sort of looked at it as well. The whole 96 or 97% accuracy thing they're spouting is a load of rubbish as well. When you actually look at what they're based on. You were superb on
that, Dave.
Yeah.
Honestly, on Radio 5 Live, if anyone hasn't heard it.
Yeah,
Dave was super.
The guy, but it was funny because I don't know if I mentioned this. So I was on 5 Live, and they had a guy called Paul Field, who's like head of the Referees Association. So he's not. Obviously, he'll be something to do with PGMOL, but he's not to do with like how VAR works and stuff like that. And he kept bringing up this 96, 97%. And I said, what is that based on, though? And he's like, well, they have a panel of people that look at the decisions. It's ex-players, ex-referees, and they decide whether VAR has made the right decision. So I use the example of Gvardiol when he got fouled against us a couple of weeks ago. Everyone knew that was a very harsh penalty to give. And then the panel said, obviously the referee gave the penalty and VAR stuck with that decision. The panel said it shouldn't have been a penalty. But then they also agreed that VAR made the right decision to stick with the on-field decision. So I said, so if you're basing that 96, 97% on the fact that VAR has stuck with that decision, then obviously the numbers are just skewed. And then he was like,
it's like Stormzy on it. These past few months yet.
and then afterwards, BBC World News messaged me like, "Can you come on for 10 minutes to talk about VAR?" I was like, "Yeah." They said we might have a guest on shortly, but I don't know. Like, he's not joined us yet. This and this. So I did my chat. I said, "Oh, Dave, if you could stick around, we've just got the head of the Referees Association, Paul Field. He's on now, mate." He's like, "I don't know." The presenter was like, "I don't know if you caught what Dave said." He goes, "Yeah, I fully agree with Dave's points. I do understand what he means." And I was there like, "Well, just back down to everything I said then." So.
Yeah, but it's sort of crap though. That, like you say, that percentile that they're trying to throw in everyone's face, like the correct. It would be like me doing a GCSE exam, and then actually I'm going to mark my own work.
Yeah.
You know, when you think about it, it's like so. The only way
you get a high grade if you mark your own homework, you're going to get a high grade, aren't you?
And I don't want to sound like Gary Neville here, but what it does need is like an independent regulator to regulate the referees. And I do sound like Gary Neville here, Champagne Tory.
And then if he's corrupt, then we need someone to regulate that.
Yeah, but there's no way that like people involved in the PGMOL can be can be part of those committees or whatever, because they're always just going to get their own. They're going to get the mates out. They're going to get the mates out of trouble. And I know that I can't remember which one it was now, or I think there's been a few times on Soccer Saturday or whatever it's called now, where Finn's mate Mike Dean's on there, and like he'll go originally with his decision. He'll go, I think they're going to overturn this, and then they don't overturn it. He goes, yeah, they're right to not overturn it. I'm like, fucking make your own mind up. Like, what? There's no point. You're not offering if you're not going to be subjective there's no point him being there. Like, if I better go back to the slaughterhouse and start playing with his chickens again or whatever he does in his spare time now. Like, it doesn't like, and Dermot Gallagher as well. He's on every Monday, isn't he? With Sue Smith and Warnock and Stephen Warnock. And again, he said one today, and it's just, I watched the clip and I was like, mate, you're talking out your arse. He was talking
It's a
about the
pointless
Jesus
segment,
handball.
isn't it? Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
pointless
it's crap.
segment
If
because
you're not going to actually say, you know what,
That's
Michael
why they'll
Oliver got
side
it.
with VAR.
Michael Oliver got it wrong
Yeah.
today. That's all they need to. That's what people want to hear. Just, they got it wrong. It's fine. Move on. Like, and he's there.
Yeah.
Well, actually, the bar, and he's right because. And look, the Samada one, they're trying to justify it. That fucking ESPN bloke who I can't stand, Dale Johnson. It was like, he just talks out his arse. He was like, oh, the Samada one was right to overturn because he
Jumped into
ran
the challenge.
and jumped rather than make a
Stepped into
challenge.
it.
I'm like, well,
Yeah.
yeah, that's it. He stepped in rather than step into it. He jumped into it. Well, how? It's a quick
jump
motion.
is you having 2 feet off the ground and jump in like that, and he didn't do that at all.
And he didn't jump 2 feet.
It wasn't out of control.
He can't step because he's got to sprint 5-6 yards to get towards the ball anyway to make the tackle. So he's another one pointless. Like, I've muted him because he's fucking.
I've had
not
arguments as such, but he said stuff to me before on socials, and I said, like, you're making no sense. You're talking.
Yeah, no, he talks out his arse. He's a knobhead. I've just muted him now. I can't be arsed.
Well, the thing is, he's got the side of it because he's the only one that does articles off like to do with the panel. So if he like goes, they're not going to give him the intel and stuff. So
yeah, exactly that.
But
we all know it works.
Yeah, the VAR obviously is going to be a massive discussion. I'm sure we'll have more discussions about it, and we can let us know your thoughts. Obviously, if you're watching on YouTube or drop us a tweet or whatever. Rest of the game obviously didn't really go as planned, like we've already mentioned. Finn Wolves sort of did well to hold it at 2, but I think that both goals are frustrating to concede the way that we did. I think the first one far too easy to allow Harvey Elliott to cross it in, and it's just a free header for McAllister, who's probably one of the smallest players on the pitch. I think not necessarily Kilman. I think Santi Bueno probably needs to get a little bit closer to him. And then the second goal as well from a set piece. I think genuinely they are both avoidable goals, aren't they?
Yeah, again, can't remember much of them or see much of them from where I was, but both felt just out of nowhere. It was avoidable, as you say. I think even they'll look even worse from probably the TV cameras. Again, it just felt like, okay, there's the first one, and then to be fair, I think the second half deserves more credit. I don't want to talk it down too much, but I can't even remember. So were they? Yeah, they're both headers, but the second one was scrappy one. Or did he put it in his head? Goal. I thought it was a Gomez own goal initially. The second one, I thought he was going to do a little baby celebration in with his own goal, but no, yeah, they both. If you, as you said, then the first goal, I was trying to scramble who scored in case you asked me because I genuinely can't remember, and it's one of them again where I haven't watched it back because I don't when we lose, so I haven't given Sky Sports many views in the last 3 months. But yeah, it's poor all round.
Yeah, frustrating. I mean, Wolves had a couple of half chances himself. Hwang had a good chance. I think it was the first half was tipped just wide. And then I don't know if this was the Wolves end, Finn. Were they shooting towards?
Yeah, Nori one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was that second half shooting towards Wolves fans?
Yeah, it was literally. Well, I'm saying I didn't see the first goals. They were literally right in front of the Wolves fans, but from where I was, I couldn't. Quite see. But
the Cunha chance was. I couldn't believe that. It looked to tap in, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, it all built up down our side, so I had a great view, and then I couldn't. I think did Allison even do well, or was it just a stinking finish from where we looked?
He just took too slow, both of them. I think they had to just release a lot quicker. I'm not sure what he's trying to do, but other than that, I can't really remember many clear-cut chances that we had throughout.
The Wang one first half looked like it went in because it hit like the back, it bounced off the back,
just
and hit the back of the net from the far end. Yeah, I was cheering, but and Doc's one I thought was miles offside, but I've heard that it was
tight, mate. I at the time I thought he was on, and then the flag went straight up, and I thought, to be fair to the linos, they normally bang on with stuff like that, but it was very tight. It was just I thought the Liverpool player's backside was playing him on, but yeah, Doc's leg.
So the cameras were working this time as well on that goal.
Yeah.
Strange.
Yeah, strange. Yeah.
Shocking it.
It's against Liverpool. Yeah, they're working. Yeah. But yeah, disappointing way obviously to end the campaign, but like I said, it could have been a lot worse. Finn, did you? I know your girlfriend is a supporter of the Reds. Did you catch any of Jurgen Klopp's little goodbye, or did you dip?
Yeah, it's funny to be fair because obviously she's been to nearly every Wolves game this year, bless her. It's been a real shift, especially the last few months. And even though her whole family are Liverpool fans and she would probably still say she's a Liverpool fan, there was one where I think Zhao was fouled in the middle of the park, and then they didn't give anything, and then they blew for a Liverpool foul. And in the most scouse she's ever sounded, she's like, "What about the one on Zhao?" So it was like the most confusing. She was like actively, I think we've nearly turned into a Wolves fan somehow. But I think a lot of people around were like, "What?" It's really weird because she's not actually, she's not actually that scouse, but when she gets angry, it comes out and. Yeah, it was weird, but I don't know how we've nearly got her there. But yeah, she's becoming a Wolves fan. I think it's João Gomez on her own. She absolutely loves João Gomez. She messages him after most games. She's coming across like a bit of a baby reindeer. But
happy birthday, João. Have a good one.
Yeah.
Congratulations from Icon.
I just showed money, but it was like heads up, João, and then like gold heart, black heart, gold heart, like proper.
Does he reply?
No, never.
I was gonna say. Not like me and Fabio Silva. All the best at Rangers, Fabio. Cheers, mate. Yeah.
Bless her. Close. She's got the red shirt with João Gomez on the back.
I've got a shirt with João Gomez on. Matching, to be fair. Yeah.
What a boy.
Yeah. There was a woman at my gym. I see. I've not seen her for a while, but I saw her today. She got like every wall shirt, but she got Nelson Semedo on the back, like a grown woman. I was like, fairs, man. It's like such a random name to like, not just the one shirt, just loads of them. She's probably listening to the podcast.
Speaking of shirts, Dave, when you said about not being at Molineux, if there's any long-term listeners, I've hid a little Easter egg in the background.
I've just seen that. I was going to mention that earlier. Yeah, iconic. You see that, Joe?
Yeah, we keep it down here.
Yeah, the one.
Was that on a transfer live stream?
Someone went mad about that, though, didn't they? Someone probably bitters about that, didn't they?
Yeah. I can't remember. It was like the end of season sale. Or did we? No, we signed Pedence in the January, and there was a mad sale on junior kits, and also you got free Pedence printed. So I think it came out to like a tenner, and I got like a junior 4X extra small.
Yeah, match warm.
Match warm one, yeah.
But yeah.
Out of interest, Finn, because we've obviously mentioned it on the sell loan keep, which is dropping this week. Would you keep Pedence next year?
Do you think those Gary O'Neill comments? Do you reckon that was no? Because we
don't know, man. There's so many players it could be. It could be Fabio. It could be Sasha.
Obviously Fabio. And I don't think it'll be Sasha. I think by all accounts he seems like a really nice guy. I think I watched Pedence and he's still got that, especially when he was doing it to Villa. I mean, it's a man after my heart, really. So during both Villa ties, I was saying, yeah, get him back, because I still think he's got that sort of Sarabia gene where he sees the pass that a lot of people don't see, but he is a little bastard. And is it worth upsetting the apple cart? I don't know, but I am really 50-50. But during those 90 minutes, I was 100% getting back. I don't know. He's got that X factor, hasn't he? Did you two say get rid?
Yeah, we said get rid.
Yeah. I'm not happy. Yeah, sorry, but yeah, I'm happy either way, really. But I always got a little soft spot for him.
No, that's all right. Well, that was the season done and dusted. Wolves finishing in the end in 14th place. It's been a bit of a disastrous end to the campaign, to be honest. But we're still remaining as a Premier League team, and I think ultimately that's what we wanted to happen. We'll look in a second at our pre-season predictions, but very quickly, Jord. Out of 10, what do you reckon? The season overall, obviously including the cups and so on. What do you think?
I think probably I'd give it a 6.5 out of 10. I think you've got to look at it very subjectively of the whole season. I think we had, first of all, we stayed up, which was objective number one. Gary O'Neill come in, done a great job. We've been cursed with a lot of injuries. Obviously, Coventry killed us, really killed us, some momentum. And then what I would say is, I think there was a lot of, for that period from like sort of February onwards, there's been a lot of, I guess, a lot of reasoning or rationale behind some of the defeats and some of the performances, i.e. we've had fucking no players, effectively, and we've been backs against the wall and whatever. However, I sort of feel like I think it's wrong to put it on O'Neill. I think we've let ourselves down a little bit in the last few games in terms of, I just think really there's been little to no excuse really to have some of the performance we've had. I think Crystal Palace last week being a big one, Bournemouth at home as well. Honestly, I thought Palace absolutely battered us, and I know they're a good team at the minute, but they were 14th when we played them. I know Bournemouth was only 1-0, and we could have, we probably should have got something out of the game. We were not at the races that first half either, so I just think. I think there's a lot to look forward to. I think there's a lot of positives. The fact that Gary O'Neill's going to have a full pre-season, think he's going to get backed by, he's going to have to sell one or two maybe, but I think he's going to have a bit of a war chest to go at then and reinvest that back in the squad. Fly coming past my face then. I just want to, I think it'll be interesting to see, but I do think Gary O'Neill, if you look at it from before that game at Old Trafford, for me, it was just keep it in the league, and he's done it. So I think 6.5 is fair, and it would have been a lot higher had the season finished in February or the end of January, start of February.
I still think it's quite low. I would probably, because I've seen a lot of people, albeit this probably a couple of weeks ago. I'd probably still give it 7.5 though. I think.
Yeah, maybe I've got a bit of recency bias in that. I said sort of like a B minus.
And look, I think a lot of people will have that because there's a lot of people saying now how like disappointed. But I think if you put the whole season into context, what happened at the start of the year and how negative people were, I've not even looked back at the comment. I had to watch that pre-season video to get the predictions, but I've not even looked at the comments, and I assume there was quite a few in there that were really negative. So I think on the face of it, considering the circumstances, we've done okay.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Well, it could have been. Look, I agree. It could have been better. I think the last few weeks have been really frustrating, but it's hard to pinpoint the blame on whoever. Obviously, Gary O'Neill may well have done some things differently. Obviously, injuries haven't quite gone our way this season. Like I'd love to see where we would have finished if, for argument's sake, Neto stayed fit, or if we had Hwang more often or whatever. I think. What do you think, rating wise, roughly?
Yeah, it's. Just when Jord was saying then, as far back as even the Bournemouth game, I remember saying to my dad that team out on the pitch was what? Hwang, Cunha, fully fit midfield, wing-backs, centre-out. You didn't have Dawson, fair. So it's Dawson and Neto, and we were still pretty uninspiring. So the excuses, yeah, they only go so far, don't they? But it's killer that once we did have a lot of the people back, that the last few games were City away, Liverpool away. It's not fallen at the nice time. But yeah, there's been so many things, I think, this year with a complete one extreme to the other. Like they're talking about Spurs, aren't they? It was 9 wins out of 10 or whatever in the first, and then they've lost so many at the end. That was flipped, and they'd have finished 5th, but they were on that, oh my God, right hand just clicked. It's the same with us. If we'd have had that, I mean, our start wasn't great, was it? But that middle period, if we could have shifted that to now, I think we'd be speaking very differently. And if you'd have told me as well that a Raul Jimenez brace and an Adama goal were going to put us 14th and drop us down a place, I'd have said, yeah, that's very Wolves. It's very believable, but I'd snap your hand off for 14th at the start of the season. So, yeah, I think I'm probably in and around where you are, Dave. It's just really disappointing end. And I think you could say it for players like Gvardiol. I thought he was rubbish first half of the season. Now I think he's best left back because he scored a few goals towards the end of the year. So it's important that we don't lead this into the start of next season, because we've got a pretty good case study in that Bruno Lage season, that how it affected us going into the next season, having a poor end. But yeah, on the whole, 7.5, even 8 maybe. I think it's exceeded expectations. Yeah.
I was going to say, if we flipped the Wolves season, I don't know if Gary O'Neill would still be in a job come...
That's what I was thinking. It's sort of really the middle.
14, so.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, if we started off with 1 win in 10, he wouldn't have been here. And yeah, you know what? I think actually there'd been the South Bank would have been on the pitch after Jeff Shee's like blood after the appointment as well. If he'd have flipped the whole season around.
Yeah, but
won it. Yeah. And then end the season with 4-1 slapped by Brighton and losing to a poor Man United side.
What do you think, Jord, our best player of the season? Or I don't know if I didn't vote, to be fair, in any of the end of season ones. But
I didn't vote.
Who would you select?
I would have probably gone Semedo, actually. I think he's consistently been the best player this season. I know he won the Players' Player. I know Lamina won the Fans' Player, but I think Semedo's been consistently the best player. I think Lamina was unbelievable for that patch when we were unbelievable, but I do think he's dropped off since February time-ish as well. And I think there is mitigating factors that obviously, it's been a long season for him, but also, his dad passing away as well. He still hasn't been bad. Well, actually, I thought he was really bad against Palace, to be honest with you. That first half he was shite, but on the whole he's been brilliant. But yeah, I would go Semedo. I think for me he's been player of the season.
What about you, Finn? What do you think?
Yeah, I didn't vote as well. I suppose that's sort of our general attitude towards the end of this season, that we're all entitled to one and didn't. But it's killer because our best players on paper weren't there the whole season, were they? You had like Cunha, Neto, Hwang all had time out. I think Aït-Nouri, I've always had a soft spot for him, so it's an outside shout. But yeah, I think any of them have got a shout. There was no outrage for me that Semedo and Lamina won the awards. I agree that Lamina had an amazing purple patch in the middle, but has really dropped off. Zhao's been very consistent throughout the season and been ever present. So, yeah, there's a lot of players in there with a shout, but I don't think I'd have gone Semedo or Lamina. Maybe even Cunha, even with that timeout, would probably just about nicked it for me.
Yeah, I like Cunha a lot. We mentioned, I don't know. I think there's a lot of players that have really stepped up. I know someone asked me the other day who's our worst player been, and I says I can't really pick or flop of the season. I was like, all right, I can't really pick one because we've got such a a small squad. I think everyone has contributed to a degree. Obviously more than others, but I don't know, unless you lot can think of any. I can't say anyone that's really, really frustrated me and I thought it's been crap this season because I just don't think there has been out of the current squad.
No.
And even like you'd have said at the start of the season, you'd have probably thought Boubacar would have played more of a part, but then in the last few weeks, he's looked quite good and been more involved. So you wouldn't say I've been necessarily disappointed because now there's sort of those seeds planted for next season. So, yeah, who is it? No one on really on the. Was there anyone that started in the starting 11 has sort of drifted out? I can't.
You'd have to go. You'd have to go with Fabio, but I know he ain't here really. But because he was in and around. He started against Brighton, didn't he? Actually,
he started. I thought he started against United. He didn't start against
Everton. He missed a sitter at Everton.
Missed a sitter at Brighton as well. Yeah. Missed 2 great chances.
Yeah, just missed a sitter.
He scored against Everton as well, but he's narrowly offside, wasn't he? So
yes, yeah.
Well, talking about matches very quickly. Best match of the season, Jord, or game of the season? Do you reckon?
I think it's got to be Tottenham for the moment. I think
away or home?
And, at home.
Yeah.
And I was fortunate enough to be in the Sevlo box, right next to Hwang Yi-chan's box, and we all ended up hugging members of Hwang Yi-chan's family. So box 4 went into box 5, and I don't think box 5 was too happy about box 4 going into box 5, but we just went everywhere. Yeah, the Sarabia, like, because it was like literally right, like it was all just the Sarabia goal was like pretty much right in front of me, and yeah, I mean, yeah.
Is that your goal of the season as well?
It would have, yeah.
Sarabia.
Yeah,
it would be mine.
Me, I think so. I think just technique. I know people say Cunha against Forest and whatever, and the Cunha goal against Forest is very good. Like, don't get me wrong, it's unbelievable, but I think the defending is fucking atrocious. And I think the Sarabia one is just technique, isn't it? It's just all in one motion, one stride, touch, volley, bang. So going back to the game of the season, for me, definitely Spurs. I would go with.
What about you, Finn?
Yeah, that one sticks out for me home-wise. Maybe Man City win as well, just because the whole Nunes thing was still bubbling at the time, wasn't it? So that was good. I can't think of many memorable away days, and the one that would come to mind, I was being dragged around Cheshire Oaks. It was Cheshire Oaks. Chelsea away with the Cunha hat-trick. I had to miss that one. Are there any other big away days? I feel like I've picked all the losses. I can't think of a memorable.
Brentford in the cup, wasn't there? That was on the
4-1,
wasn't it?
Was it the Prem where we won? It was in the Prem because
Prem. Sorry, no.
Yeah,
Prem. Sorry, I was thinking because of it was on Prime, wasn't it? I know it was
between Christmas and New Year.
Prime TV. Yeah. Sorry, it was in the league. Yeah, sorry, it was in the league.
Yeah, I can't think. Big 6. So we beat Spurs away. I bet that would have been that was another one.
Spurs are a good one, yeah. I know I like the Chelsea game at home. Christmas Eve, which is a bit different as well, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So that's just a bit different. I always felt that we were going to win that game as well. I remember when Doc came on, I said, "Yeah, he's going to score here," and all the people around me were like, "Yeah, what are you on about?"
And does West Brom count? Do we?
Of course, West Brom as well.
God, yeah,
I forgot about it. Mate, that's what I mean in terms of the context of the season. If you said right, the day like Lopetegui's left, but we're going to stay in the Premier League and beat West Brom in the cup this year, you'd be like, "Yeah, sound."
Oh yeah, he would.
And also, if you'd have read off Cunha and Hwang's returns after last season, I think I still need to sort of readjust to that they were winning like 1s and 2s of goals and assists, weren't they? And then they've exploded this year. It was that middle period. If they'd have carried that on, we'd have been looking at great numbers, but just completely fell off.
I think we did it in the series earlier, wasn't it? Cunha got 2 and Hwang got 3, or did Hwang get 4 last season, Dave? Cunha got 2, didn't he? Cunha got 2 in 20 odd, and I think Hwang got 4.
Something.
Was it
like
3? It was very low.
It was crappy. Cunha definitely scored twice, and Huang scored
And it
last
took Cunha
season
a while to
4 in all comps, 3 in the league. Yeah,
mad.
There we go.
Do you remember when Cunha hadn't scored in a win for ages as well? Even when it got to was it the Bournemouth game where he first
was
scored
that
in
earlier this
a win?
season?
Yeah, I think it was first that Bournemouth
Yeah,
one where we then scored the last minute. That was his first game where he'd actually contributed to a result.
yeah. So, I mean, we relied on those two massively. They've been fantastic players for us as well. Like, really, I think Cunha especially has been really, really good this year for us. But
And Neto's assist, was he on 11 after 15 games, and then did he get another?
no, he was on 8,
Got
wasn't he? But
eight
I was
eight
saying
in 10 or something.
the record. I mean, the run that he was on, if he averaged that for the rest of the season, he would have broke the Premier League record for assists.
Wow. See, it is I saw Ollie Watkins won most assists, didn't he? I saw someone quote tweet like, "What is this woke nonsense that strikers getting most assists?"
Yeah, I mean, well, it's no, it's been look. I'm sort of glad that the season's done. But I've been thinking that last few weeks or so, obviously and I think it's just Wolves have been desperate. And I know there will be some people looking from the outside thinking, oh man, this hangover that Wolves have got might carry on into next season. But I'm confident it won't. I think there'll be lots of changes. That game against Liverpool might be the last time we see a couple of those players. Neto, one of those. So I'm sure there might be some questions about shortly as well. Lads, we're going to look back at the pre-season predictions now. See how well we did. You know what? I think there's some great shouts here. There's some. I don't think there's many massive howlers, but there's some decent shouts. So we'll start off with the pre-season predictions on where Wolves are going to finish. So obviously Wolves finished 14th. I said 15th. Matt said 14th, so Matt got it bang on. Finn, you said 13th. And Jordan, I think you said 16th.
16th,
so,
yeah.
I think, mate, you know what? In around, a couple of places each, that's some big shouts there. Like, I'm fair play to all us for that anyway. These are the funny ones now. Dark horse for the season, so someone that didn't perform too well, we thought was going to perform well. I said Mateus Nunes, wasn't even at the club. Jordan also said Mateus Nunes. Finn said Sarabia, he did all right. Matt said Matt Doherty, which just didn't work. Wolves shouts out there. Wolves shout. I said Wolves to be in the top half of the league for goals scored. I don't think that happened. Although we did much better this year. I think the last 5 to 10 games petered off massively. George said Wolves will have 3 permanent managers throughout the season. Obviously, Gary O'Neill kept his place.
But that was when Lopetegui was still in charge.
Yeah, with Lopetegui, to be fair. Yeah. You also said Craig Dawson maybe to score 5+ goals, which I haven't checked, but I don't think that happened.
I didn't. No, he got 1, I think.
Yeah. Finn said Wolves to beat all promoted teams home and away. That didn't happen either.
Yeah, that Luton first one was killer. Drew, I was like, oh, there we go.
Matt said Mateus Nunes to be in the top 5 fouled players, and obviously that didn't come in here. Now, this is where my biggest stinker is. Yeah, this is the biggest stinker I've got here. Actually, I'll start with you lot first. So top goal scorer, obviously for us in all competitions.
I know exactly who you said top goal scorer. Anyway. Before you said, I know exactly who you're going to say.
No, wait. So you all three said Mateus Cunha to score 14 goals, to be top goal scorer, and he did that with 14 goals. I predicted Fabio Silva to be the Wolves' top goal scorer this season, and he scored a resounding 0 for the Wolves. Actually, no, I tell a lie. He got 1. Scored against Blackpool in the cup. Respect it. Yeah, so that was a big L. In terms of assists, who got the most assists for us then this season? Because
it's got to be Neto still.
Still Neto. Did Sarabia?
Sarabia may have overtaken him. Sorry, let me just double check. I only had the top goal scorers, top assists here. So yeah, it was Sarabia. He got 10 assists. Oh, Neto and Sarabia got 10 assists each. Even Cunha got 8 to be fair. So 10 assists each. In terms of our predictions, I said Sarabia. Yes. George said Sarabia. No, sorry. I said Sarabia, Finn said Sarabia, and Matt said Sarabia, so they're all correct. George said Nunes. So, to be fair, at the time, there was no massive indication that,
the context of this, it was recorded when Lopetegui was still here, and Mateus Nunes wasn't even aware of Man City were interested in him.
The best ones, for every year before he left, I had Morgan Gibbs-White to be in the England squad, and he was loaned out, normally a week after. I like some of these shouts. So these are like 3 predictions we had for the wider Premier League. So my shout to Forest to go down, which was pretty close. Spurs to get top 4, which in the end was fairly close. This is the shout, you know. I think this is the shout of the thing. Sandro Tonali to be the flop of the season. And he didn't get a kick, really, did he? So,
Yeah, no.
class. I thought the Italian tax, mate, it's coming in. George said Liverpool to finish above Arsenal, which is obviously didn't come in. I like these two shouts, George, that you had. Luton and Sheffield United to both finish below 30 points. That came in quite comfortably in the end. You said actually on the pod, and it wouldn't have quite come in, you said you were going to say 25 points or below, and you changed it to 30, but you said Luton on 26 still. You weren't far away. And let me clarify this one, because this is a shout as well. You said Eze to get 15 plus goal contributions. Did that come in? It must have
Didn't he get 4 yesterday?
That must.
How long was he injured for?
He was injured for about a third of the season as well.
Yeah,
I think he's got way over it.
15 bang. Oh no! In in the league, 15 bang on. If you count the EFL Cup, he got 17 altogether.
Always count the EFL Cup.
Yeah,
brilliant
shout. I think that's a great shout. Then there we go.
Yeah, you've just done it for Fabio, Dave. Be fair.
Yeah. I don't know. I'll have to stat check this one, Finn. Because you said the most ever Premier League yellow cards in a Premier League season ever.
Doubt it. It was the most goals, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So maybe I said that and the mic was
I think I would have been there. You also said no Europe for Newcastle, which I think they've just qualified, haven't they?
I'm pretty sure.
No. To caveat that though, if Man United beat Man City, Newcastle aren't in Europe.
Oh yeah, to be
Man City win the cup.
Oh.
Man City win next week. Newcastle are in.
Does it not go to an extra place? No, does it not?
No, it'd be like when we finished 7th, didn't we? Twice in a row. Yeah, because we finished 7th twice in a row. Second time because of Chelsea winning the.
No, Man City beat Watford, didn't they?
And that gave us Europe. But the season after, Chelsea won the FA Cup, and we didn't get Europe. It's killer.
Yeah, that was it.
But you did say Eddie Howe's time wasting Newcastle. You did.
Yeah, time wasting because they. Do you remember? I was thinking that in the Liverpool game, or a lot of games this season. Do you remember those first few games where if you took a few seconds over a throw in, it was bang? I think that might have been behind my yellow card thing as well. But they just there's no consistent rules throughout the season. I think that's the theory behind all of those, because Newcastle were the least ball in play, weren't they, last season? They were turned into the Brentford. So
I like this shout as well, Finn, that you had, and I'm just going to clarify it now. It's a brilliant shout. You said Mason Mount to get less than 7 goals and assists, and he got 2 no comps.
Yeah, I went 7 because of his shirt number. I've just never. It's Mount and Sterling. I don't know why. It's just.
But mate, they paid 65 million for him. He's played 19 times this season. He's played 755 minutes of football. That is mad. Big shout though. I like that shout. Matt said Bournemouth to finish in the top 10, which obviously didn't come in. He probably nominated Iraola as well for Manager of the Year. Newcastle to finish outside the top 7, which didn't come in. And Emery to be sacked before the end of the season, which didn't come in. George, you also said, you thought, after he said that, you said you think Villa are going to have a good year. So you're also correct. So I don't know who's won that, really. I think, George, from the looks of it, you've probably got the best shouts there, if I'm honest.
I'll take it. I think the Eze one was...
I like that Eze one. I might think of one for that next season. I quite a rogue. Mate, he really kicked on. Him and
weren't Man City sniffing around Eze? Because if they had taken him instead of Nunes, we might have looked a lot better on all our other predictions. And then on the bench.
Eze would definitely not have had 15 goal contributions to City because he wouldn't have got a kick.
Yeah.
I like those. There's some good shots in there. If anyone let us know their thoughts about those, but we'll move on to the questions now. We only asked on Instagram this week. For next season, we'll try and expand it out to Facebook and Twitter a bit more often as well. One of obviously the rumours of the summer may well be goalkeepers. Again, a little plug for the Sell Loan Keep series. Me and Jord spoke about that a little bit. It's Miles on Instagram said, would you take Kelleher, Trafford or Muric as next season's goalkeeper if Sarr goes? Personally, I'd go with Kelleher, Jord.
I'll one up this because I was hoping that he wouldn't play again this season, because the one I've sneakily wanted for a bit is Ortega from Man City as a ball playing goalkeeper, and now his stock's gone really high now, so I just seem like I'm getting on the train. But I've actually been a big fan for a long time. So out of Kelleher, Muric, and who?
Trafford, was it?
Trafford.
You've got to take one of them three.
Out of the 3.
Keep Sarr.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, I think, like I say, I really...
Well, he dropped a stink the other week.
Yeah, I think Keller is slightly overrated as well. I think he's got Liverpool tax associated to him. Muric, out of the three, and I know this would be the most unpopular one, I'll probably take Trafford only because of age, and you could actually, if you could blood him in a little bit, I reckon he's still got a decent ceiling to him. So I don't know, Trafford. That's going to get me. I'm going to get some stinkers in the comments. You know what? I'll take Muric for right now. Muric, because I think I just don't rate Keller that much.
Yeah. What do you say, Finn?
I haven't watched enough of any of them really. I think Keller. We've had a few cup games against Liverpool, so we've seen him quite a few times and always been impressed. But yeah, when you look at the Hoovers and the whoever else, even like I said, Nico Williams that Liverpool managed to sell for these numbers, you just can't trust them. They're selling them for a reason. So yeah, maybe Muric as well. But I was seeing some stats as well. I think Sarr's a real one, like on eye test. I think that he's dropped a few clangers this year. You go, oh, yeah, maybe sell him. But then when you look into the stats, Sarr's actually been pretty decent this year. But I don't know. If you could get a Saudi deal for Sarr, then out of those three, then maybe Muric, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think Wolves would necessarily go for any of those three, if I'm completely honest, anyway. But I don't know. I did see a rumor earlier today Burnley were looking at possibly selling both of them to make a decent. There is still a lot of interest in that Trafford. I just don't know. I've just never been overly convinced by him. I think he could be. I think if Burnley could keep him next season, that'd be a good year for him in the Championship. He could kick on, but. I
just think with goalkeepers that he's like 21, isn't he, as well? I think profile and it's very, very young for a keeper. But I think he needs to probably get some championship games under his belt, to be fair to him.
Yeah, because he did quite well. Was it
Bolton?
League One? Yeah, he was Bolton. Yeah.
Yeah, so let's see. Diego on Instagram says, considering how we ended the season, do you think this will change the club's plans for the summer? Don't think so. I think that was, unless we got into Europe or whatever, I think their plans in the summer have probably been pretty much what we would have expected since end of January, Jord.
Yeah, I think there's a bit more flexibility with FFP. The John Percy article's been released as of today, of us recording on the Monday, which alludes to probably netto 60 million quid somewhere. I think we've got a bit more flexibility there. You sell netto and you sell some of the dead wood in the rest of the squad, we probably end up with about 100 million total, I reckon. And then I think that's a fair number to say. Anywhere between 85 and 100 million quid, and I think that's probably enough to go and buy 4 or 5.
I think the main thing is here, and I've mentioned this before on the podcast, is that although it says we're not under any pressure to sell, that doesn't mean we've got money to buy, which I think a lot of people are still potentially getting confused about. So I think that's what we need to be cautious of, that people don't think, oh, we don't need to sell it, we could just spend another 100 million and there'll be no repercussions, because there will be. We've got to sell to buy, really. But there's no pressure to sell. Like, we could keep the same squad if we wanted to, and we won't be under any trouble. But yeah, I think the Neto one will be interesting. Obviously, Wolves apparently today have put a 60 million price tag on him. Be interested to see. You would assume there'd be a bit of movement on that, but safe to say Wolves will want about 50 million plus for him. So we'll see. Rupert on Instagram, Finney says, would you have wanted West Brom to get promoted so we could face them next season?
No, I don't think I will. No, I don't. I don't think I would. I was having this discussion with a few Liverpool fans on the train with the Spurs thing. Where it was the win, you could get Champions League, but also Arsenal could win the league. Where we're doing the same with if you had to score a penalty, Liverpool get Champions League, but Everton stay up, or they don't, but Everton go down. And we were doing the same with Wolves and West Brom. Yeah, and I think I'd much rather. I'd much rather in that context. I'm contradicting myself because I'd much rather them have just stayed up and us get some sort of form of European football, but with this choice, keep them down there. It's fine.
Yeah, fuck them. I'm so glad that they're not coming up. George, what do you?
What would you do on that though, Dave? Sorry, George, answer both. That would you on that same thing if you scored the penalty or whatever? For Wolves to get Europe, but West Brom stay up, or Wolves finish outside of European places, but West Brom.
I'd take Europe every day of the week.
Just keep them up.
I'd take Europe every day of the week.
I've always been of the opinion I'd much rather play them every season than not. Only for the fact of I just enjoy derby days, like a bit of a sicko. I just like that. But I want them to be as miserable as possible for the season. So
Yeah.
I'd rather, if we were both in the Championship, the context, okay, we're in the say we're hypothetically we're both in the Premier League. I'd want West Brom to come 17th every season,
I see
but
what you. Yeah.
I'd want us to batter them every time we play them. I'd want them to lose fucking 18-0 to Man City. I'd want them to fucking suffer. And then what'd actually be quite funny is they got no points and 3 people got done with FFP. They have to stay in the league a bit further and just get fucking I'm a bit of a sicko like that. Yeah, I'm happy for them. I'd rather play them every season, but I don't want them to succeed, if that makes sense.
But they're having a bit of fun, aren't they, finishing 5th? I see what you mean. Whereas, as in they're winning games in the Championship, whereas they get slapped in the prep. I see your logic. Yeah, I see that.
Nah,
so if we ever went down, I'd want them to be in the Championship, but they're coming 20th, and I want them to fucking have the worst season ever. I want miserable pain for the lot of them.
I'm glad they lost because there was a bit of you know what I mean. I don't follow many Albion fans. There wasn't much of a head loss on my timelines, but the stag do which was on last week, obviously when I wasn't on the pod. Which, by the way, I did hear a lot of the slander about my fashion sense. By the way, for that stag do, I wasn't too happy about. George sent me.
I like it, Dave.
That's why Sam Beacon's not on the pod anymore. He's
mate, I'll stack him off. Look it. Yeah.
Can I address my slander? I wanted to raise because obviously I get done for not being here, which is fair. But I was thinking the other day, it's true. If you added up games attended plus podcasts attended, who would win this season? I was like,
but isn't there slightly more games than podcasts or not? Oh, mate, no, you beat Matt. You beat Matt.
Game.
You'd beat Matt, yeah.
I think we should do a league table.
Yeah, we should.
Or maybe
I think I'd win, wouldn't I?
Probably.
Actually, I don't know because you do more aways than me.
I do all the. Well,
I've not done many aways.
I think I missed 3 aways.
Yeah, you'd be up there, Finn. I think Jord could be bottom.
Respect.
No, I don't think I would be because I think it'd be.
Actually, you know what? Matt's only done one away game.
Minutes spent in the stadium. Plus podcasts. Matt is definitely bottom.
Deduct talk of houses. Yeah, Matt's bottom, man.
Matt is gone. Yeah.
No, I'm joking. What I was going to say was in that stag do, a lot of those were Albion fans. So last Sunday we had to go. Well, they found a bar because it was showing the Albion game. So on Friday I was at the pub after football and I had the match on. Went 2-0. I was like, yes. So I put a message in this group chat. They're all in. So does anyone know when tickets are available for Wembley? Blue emoji, white emoji. I thought, come on, mate. No one bid. I was like, what? I was like, mate, this is a tap-in. The lad who's a stag, who's a massive West Brom fan, just put laughing emojis. I was like, nah, come on. There's got to be some bites.
No, they've all got, my mates and whatever, they've all got very on the high horse and political going, well, we didn't want to go up because...
That's what I've seen as well. We weren't ready to go.
We'd be like Sheffield United. We wouldn't want to go up. I'm like, fuck off.
You can't not want to go up, can you? You got to Wembley and lose. That's all right. We weren't ready.
Get to the final. Yeah, you know what? We're going to lose. You know what? Leeds, go on. You go and beat us. We don't want to go up anyway. It's fine. Load of shit.
We did this season. Do you remember what was the conversation? Oh, would Europe be too soon or whatever? Everyone does it. It's like, are we ready for Europe?
It's just how you adjust. You use the transfer window to your advantage, isn't it? So,
like we famously did.
Yeah, exactly. Speaking of that, Trevor on Instagram, Jordy says, how would have our last few managers, such as Lopetegui, Bruno Lage and Nuno, have done with the squad this season?
So, everyone knows who listens to this podcast knows my thought on Bruno Lage. Like, Bruno Lage would have finished below Sheffield United with the squad. And then Nuno...
It's 5 at the back, wasn't it? Most of the time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
5th.
Nuno would have been okay, I think.
Doc back, mate.
Nuno would have done all right.
FPL certain.
I think they're all finished. I think they would have all finished around a similar sort of place, personally.
I think so under Nuno. Lopetegui.
I think the same as well.
Yeah, I know he's been a little whiny bitch, and again, his puppet master's been tweeting again the other day. It's working for him. Lopetegui did a good job for us, and he's a good manager. So I think Lopetegui would have been fine. I think we'd have been fine in all scenarios other than Bruno Lage, who would have we would have been the pits. We would have been shite. There we go.
What do you think, Finn? I reckon around the same place, mostly.
Yeah. I don't think any more words are needed there, apart from Nuno would have had us in Europe, mate. To be fair, are there any Nuno players like Kilman, Aït-Nouri? That's about it, isn't it? And we never saw the
Obviously
best of
he's
Aït-Nouri.
retired.
Nuno. Oh, Dot.
Neto.
And some, yeah, to be fair. And Podence wouldn't have gone anywhere if Nuno was still here. So, yeah, I think we wouldn't have gone down with Nuno. I don't think we'd have gone down with Lopetegui either. I think some of his words at the start of the season, to be fair, he wanted to push on, didn't he, and get us further up the table, whereas a lot of it was taken as, or did he actually say we'd get relegated with this squad ever? I don't.
It's struggle.
He's basically just saying like we haven't got enough quality. But I think it was more so we ain't got enough quality in numbers to do what he wanted to do.
Yeah, I don't know whether Bruno would. I don't know. The first season,
I don't think
Bruno
he would have
was-
gone down. No, I don't think he would have gone down, but we definitely would have done.
Yeah,
it
he was so bad.
Bro, he wouldn't have sent us down though, would he? Mate, how
Well, he was on
bad have the
course
free
to.
kicks been this year?
One course to do it the season before. We spent £60 million on a fucking centre midfielder.
He's not wrong. Class one for the comments.
Yeah, but would he have done as
finished.
bad as Sheffield United, Burnley, and fucking Luton?
Okay, we'd have definitely finished below Forest and Everton under Bruno Lage.
Yeah.
Like 100%.
What's he doing with his life these days?
Oh, I don't
Still
know.
in Brazil?
Nah, he got sacked, didn't he? Because they were top of the league and he nearly bowled that as well.
Oh dear.
Yeah, Soccer Aid need a manager in a few weeks. Like I said, he might get his dream come true.
He's probably managing his charity game on Friday. I was going to say Nuno as well. He might be leaving Forest now, or at least he's uncertain.
He hasn't done
I
great.
think, mate, if I was him, I would dip. You know, he's done a job.
I'd
I'd dip as well, bro.
Asking case place as well. Yeah, I reckon he's been paid a big whacking bonus to keep.
I
him
think
in
his
the
level's
league.
above that as a manager as well. I genuinely think he's above that level as a manager.
Did he get many Mendes? Yeah, just leave Giovanni Reina there, or did they get him in on loan?
They got him on loan.
Oh, that's all right then.
Yeah. Someone asked, Dan Evans asked if there was any updates on the new kit or sponsor. There was rumours, George, you put this earlier on. There was rumours about Visit Angola at the start of the year, I think. And then in terms of the kit supplier, there've been rumours, but Castor was definitely going. I know that as much. But the two rumours that I've heard, and I haven't actually said this publicly yet, and I don't know if anyone else knows any others. Umbro was one, and then the other was Wolves potentially looking into their own supplier, such as probably to do with the Levy's merchandising thing they've got. So I don't know if anyone's got anything to add. George?
Got no idea, but ever since Castor printed my hoodie wonky, then yeah, they can go.
No, I think the only reason why, I mean, it came up in the chat we were in earlier. Like Visit Angola, I'm pretty sure that it was announced on a website, like an African news channel that actually was like it's been confirmed in Africa that. Well, it was almost like it was a signed deal. So it'd be interesting to see if it is Visit Angola. I mean, if Visit Angola goes on front of a Wolves shirt, am I going to want to go and visit Angola? Probably not. Not really top 5 on my list, but. You know, if Visit Angola want to sponsor the podcast for us to go out to Angola,
yeah, for a podcast, yeah,
I'm all in. Get me a fucking national shirt with them.
Yeah, they're Portuguese, aren't they? Angola. That's where
Portuguese speaking. Yeah.
You know what I remember is this is proper. They used to have a striker when he at United, an Angolan striker. Was it Minuccio or something like that?
I'm just picturing like an Ultimate Team card with I can't remember who it was.
Minuccio, man.
Yeah.
It's always signing on FM. I was like, bro, Angolan, man. And Helder Costa. Helder Costa.
Yeah.
I had a Portuguese region and Football Manager that was and got like Portuguese Angolan, so they hold a special place.
I'm visiting there, mate. I'm there. Helder Costa Angola, sure. Who says no?
Yeah, Minuccio.
Did he play for them? Did he?
Yeah, he switched to Allegiance.
Yeah.
Funny man. Throwback. I'll see very quickly if there's any other questions. There's loads of questions about transfers. The final one, Ben Southall, he says, do you find the transfer period interesting or frustrating, Jord? A bit of both, maybe?
It's interesting when you've got a pot to piss in.
Yeah.
When you haven't, it's not that interesting. But I think I said it on the pod last week. I think people need to be patient on this window just because of the Euros is on, the Copa America's on as well.
Olympics.
If stuff doesn't get, Olympics is on as well because there'll be players under 23s at the Olympics as well. So there's a good chance that if deals aren't done in the next sort of 2 weeks, then stuff won't get done till mid to late August. I don't think, because people will go on be in tournaments and go on holidays and stuff. And I think you might see some movement with some of the teams that are desperate to sell because of FFP. So I think Forest have got to make some. I think Forest and Everton will have some outs, but I don't think there's anyone
Well,
from
Villa
those
as
clubs that
well.
you're after.
They might have a bit more flexibility now.
But I think with Villa they're going to get stung with what got us, wasn't it? Because the UEFA stipulations are more strict than the Premier League ones, aren't they?
He's gone.
Oh,
You're back.
did you lose me then?
Yeah, I just lost you for like last 20 seconds. That's it.
Oh, you'll have to cut.
I said yeah.
So you have to cut that out. About.
Yeah,
it was the Villa sensor that we put on.
So yeah, Villa. I said I think they'll be hit with what we got done with though when we were in Europe, because the UEFA stipulations are stronger or tighter than the Premier League restrictions. So
yeah,
I mean, I've seen today they need to get. Well, I think Diego Carlos might be going. I've seen before, like they might need to get rid of like Jacob Ramsey or one of these homegrown players just to try and raise some money. So it'd be interesting to see. Yeah,
I make money on like John Duran because Chelsea have wanted him as well, haven't they?
Duran.
You know what? I actually quite like the look of him when he comes on. He's very like erratic.
Hasn't he got more goals than starts in the Premier League or something like that this year?
I think so, yeah. He just seemed like a handful, yeah.
I've got him on FM. I'm like 2036, mate. He's an absolute bagsman. I'm 11 years into the game. Bagsman, mate. Loving it. I think that's all, lads. It's been... actually, Finn, transfers, interesting or frustrating for you? Bit of both?
Yeah, I always say that I'm not that bothered, and then you sort of look at your screen time in the weeks in August, and miraculously it's gone up another 4 hours because you've been scrolling on Twitter too much. So I like to think that I'm not that bothered, but it grips me. I think last season was tough because it was right who's on the chopping block next, whereas maybe the last few weeks, that last sort of week where we could actually spend some money was all right. But I always end up being a sucker for it. Obviously, this January there was nothing going on, was there? So the screen time was still reasonably healthy, but I think interesting largely for me. I like to think that I don't get wrapped up in it, and I don't know when I'll grow out of it, but maybe a couple of years.
I think it's important that there's people out there that like say everything they read is gospel. And like it's important to realise that like it's just rumours and just
you do that with me a lot. I like to send something and go, "Oh, look at this," and you go, "May as well be written on on a brick wall."
And it's like, there's like sources now that I know that are like obviously I report a lot on Talking Walls, but like there's always like caveats to a lot of sources and stuff that But we'll wait and see. But guys, that is all for the 2023-24 season. Thank you very much to everyone that's listened, whether it's a minute or 20 hours of our podcast this season. I really do appreciate it. Your support always doesn't go unnoticed. And for the final time, Jord, where can people find you if they wish?
If people want to find me, I'll probably be in a beer garden watching the Euro somewhere. Talk about that. I don't think we're going to have to go to Digbeth, are we, again?
Oh my god! You know what? I was in Birmingham the other day, and I brought that up to somebody. They're like, "When's the last time?" I can't remember.
It was the most.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was it? I walked past, that little pub we went to in the evening. Me and you went for a McDonald's, and then went to that dirty little. Say dirty. It was a lovely pub, but it was just downstairs, like proper dark.
Oh, you're on about Bacchus Bar, aren't you?
Yeah, that was it. I walked past there, and someone's like, "You've been there?" I was like, "Actually, I have, yeah."
Yeah. That's the story for another day, but that was one of the most surreal nights of my whole life. It was weird.
Strange.
The whole thing was weird. Hopefully England win the Euros. But if people want to follow me through the summer, Jord7 on Twitter and Instagram.
Finn, where can people find you if they wish?
I'll be abroad with Jem's family for the first few Euros games, so that was a big no-no, I've told them. But no, I'll be in, I think it's Menorca we're going. So I'll be in a Spanish, is it Spain? Menorca?
Yeah, it is.
Anyway, I'll be abroad. Watching them in probably a sunnier bar, so I'm really looking forward to that, to be fair. So I'll be there, and Finners everywhere, FINERRZ on all socials.
I think I'll be in Malta actually for part of the Euros as well. So
I still want to do Malta. Can you bring me one time?
Yeah. Mate, you can come this summer if you're free, mate. You've got loads of room. So at Dave as a party on the socials. and at Talking Wolves everywhere to keep up to date with all the latest Wolves news and transfer rumours. On Facebook, Instagram, and obviously do the YouTube updates as well. I'm sure we'll have the transfer podcast out throughout the summer as well. So if you are listening on Apple or Spotify, there will be some audio for you to listen to throughout the summer. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new. If you are listening again on Spotify or Apple, drop us a 5-star. And until next season on the Talking Wolves podcast, we will catch you very, very soon. Cheers, guys.